It's as good as it gets in Minnesota high school girls basketball. Tonight, the number 3 team in Class 4A, Park Center, takes on the number 1 team and defending state champion, Hopkins, as part of the Park Center Holiday Showcase. From Park Center High School, John Jacobson and Carl Pearson. And Carl, what a great matchup. 10-0 Hopkins, 11-0 Park Center. This has the feel of a section final with the big crowd here tonight and just the hype surrounding this game.
Yeah, people were filing in here as early as 6 o'clock, and the place was pretty much at capacity about 20 or 30 minutes ago, so it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere.
These are 2 terrific teams. Hopkins, as I mentioned, riding a long winning streak going all the way back to 2018. They've won 42 straight games. Dynamic team and a fun club to watch, averaging 86 points a game.
And the engine that makes them go is Paige Bueckers, averaging 20 points a game, but she helps them in other ways. She controls the game on defense with 4 steals a game. She dishes out 8 assists a game. We were talking before the game, and I said, I don't know if I've seen a player change the game as much as she has other than Maya Moore.
And Bueckers kind of a once-in-a-generation type player, right? It's not only her scoring, but so many things that she can do.
Absolutely, and she doesn't do it alone. She's got a host of talented players on the roster with her. That's what makes Hopkins so formidable.
For Park Center, they've got some great players led by Adalia McKenzie, who's really had a phenomenal season scoring the basketball, averaging 32 points a game almost.
And they have not played a soft schedule. She's averaging 32 points a game against some of the best teams that Minnesota has to offer.
Park Center averaging about 76 points per game, so they're the underdog tonight despite an 11-0 record. What's their formula to success to try to steal a win here against the Royals?
Well, I think both of these teams rely on getting a lot of offense out of their defense. So the key for the game for both teams is who's going to be able to control the ball, limit their turnovers, and not allow the other team to have easy baskets in transition.
Should be a great one here tonight on CCX. Park Center Hopkins live for you right here after this.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
We are back live on CCX, ready for tip-off. Park Center and Hopkins. Park Center Holiday Showcase 2-day event. This is the final game of the tourney. It's starting a little bit late. The 2 previous games ran a little long. John Jacobson, Carl Pearson, and excited to get this one underway, Carl, and see what we've got here tonight.
It is a privilege to be in the gym. I think there's a lot of people that wanted to get in and weren't able to get in.
And Hopkins gets the opening possession. Again, they come in 10-0 on the season. Park Center 11-0. And they have played a tough schedule, Carl, as you mentioned.
Yeah, they've already got wins over St. Michael, Stillwater, and Wayzata on their resume.
A patient opening possession for the Royals, and McKenzie gets a hand in there and knocks the ball away. Very active defensively. Outstanding player for the Pirates on both ends. Inbound pass from Agara, and they get it down low, and 2 points to start the game for Hopkins from Maya Najee.
Nice sideline is out of bounds play there, and it isolated the post. No backside help for Park Center.
Lauren Frost with the basketball. Off on the left wing. Drive by Tanae Griffin, and out of bounds. Let's look at our starters for tonight. Park Center actually the visitor in this game. Aaliyah Ragulin, Tanae Griffin, Kayla Cox, Adalia McKenzie, and Lauren Frost is their starting 5. And for the Hopkins Royals, KK Adams, Maya Najee, Taylor Woodson, Nunu Agara, and Paige Bueckers. Kayla Cox out on the left wing. Griffin will pop a 3 off the rim. And recovered by Adams and then stolen back by Park Center. They double team the ball on the sideline. McKenzie, little spin move up and in for 2.
She may be playing with a chip on her shoulder tonight. Paige Bueckers gets so much attention, but she's got more impressive scoring numbers. She might want to get the spotlight on her this evening.
Drive and an easy 2 for Taylor Woodson. Freshman puts her team up 4-2. Lob pass in, McKenzie. And then Bueckers steals it away from behind. Paige Bueckers averaging over 4 steals a game. Little pull-up from 12 up and in.
That shows her basketball acumen right there. A lot of players would charge into the basket and get called for the offensive foul, but she had the wherewithal to pull up and shoot the mid-range jumper.
Frost, nice dish to Ragulin in the corner. Missed on the 3. The rebound, then Griffin trying to take the ball away, and does, as it went off Najee last. A good job by Griffin to stay with it there and allow her team to keep the basketball.
First impressions, it's going to be really difficult for Park Center to deal with Hopkins' length on defense. They've got guards that are 6'1" with wingspans that look to be about 6'4", and those are just difficult people to pass around.
Frost looking for someone to pass into and get it into the backcourt. And Cox will bring it in. Across the timeline. She'll drive to the basket, trying to scoop the shot up. Not good. Follow-up won't go. The third try is up and in for McKenzie.
And that's a part of her game. She's not just a scorer. She's had several games of double-digit rebounds already this year.
KK Adams for 3. Not good, but there's a length you talked about, Carl. They get the offensive rebound. And going to the line for 2 is Woodson.
There's so much Division I talent on the floor tonight that the fans in the stands are being treated to watching a college caliber game. This is not your typical high school basketball game.
First one rattles in for Woodson. Woodson averaging 14.2 points per game.
She is not built like a freshman. She would pass for a junior or senior for sure.
Second one comes off. Cox rebounds, touches it out to Frost. Frost, dish off. Ragulin long 2 from the baseline, off the mark, and rebounded by Woodson. Here comes Bueckers for Hopkins. Good defense on her as McKenzie stays in front of her. Down in the low post, little turn, kiss off the glass, too strong for Najee. And a foul on the floor is going to be on Ragulin.
That's a tough break for Park Center. I know they feel like she was just boxing out, but when the player's already in the air and you go to back her out, that is a foul. And that's what Coach Metcalf's discussing right now, I'm sure.
Pass in, a block from behind. His shot gets blocked by Griffin. Ragulin trying to lay it in. Bueckers came back charging defensively, may have altered the shot a little bit. And the Royals have it back. They move it quickly to the front court. Adams for 3 from the corner, not good. Ragulin's got the board. It's a 3-on-1 break. McKenzie up, too strong. And up and down we go here in the early going. Here's Woodson attacking and scoring.
That's a big swing there. A missed transition opportunity by Park Center turns into a layup at the other end for Hopkins. Those will really kick you in the gut.
Frost for 3. That won't go. And the rebound to Najee. Bueckers going to slow it up here as she brings it to the front court. 9-4 Royals. 3.5 minutes into the first half. Hopkins and Park Center both unbeaten. Ranked in the top 3 in the state in 4A. Bueckers finds the cutter. Najee for 2 on the layup.
That's one of those ways that Bueckers changes the game. She draws so much attention that they were trying to defend her coming off the ball screen, and they forget about the post slipping.
Ragulin picks up the loose ball. Draws a double team, lobs it into Griffin, who slices through the defense, and the shot gets blocked by Najee. Bueckers now ahead to Najee, up and in.
Good timeout by Coach Metcalf.
We have Nunu Agara on the receiving end of that and able to put it up and in.
That's a good timeout. It's going to allow her players to kind of catch their breath. And I'm sure right now in the huddle she's saying, listen, we've had plenty of opportunities at our end. We just haven't cashed in on the bunnies, the layups. we're playing good basketball. Don't look at the scoreboard right now. It's not 13-4 the way we've played. This is more of a 13-12 kind of game, so keep your heads up.
Gar with her first basket. Just a freshman, 6'1" freshman. You look at Barb Metcalf, third-year head coach at Park Center. 11-0 on the season, ranked third in Class 4A. As for the Pirates, and it's for any team that plays Hopkins, and you've seen it in state tournament play even last year, playing some really good teams. You try not to get rattled. You try not to let them get on these runs, and all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard, it's 8-9 point deficit in a hurry. You just have to settle down, right, as best you can.
Yeah, after the game, sometimes people say, well, if you just take away that 12-0 run,
right.
But you can't. You can't take it away, and so you've got to respond, and we'll see if Park Center can do that here.
Frost dribbled through the lane, lost it out of bounds, and was hoping for a foul call, didn't get one, and it's over to Hopkins on a turnover.
We've mentioned McKenzie and her 31 points a game, but she's been helped by Tanae Griffin and 14 points a game, Lauren Frost with 13 points a game. We're going to need to see those two players step up and help out tonight as well.
Bueckers will drive and scoop it in for two.
Now that's the same play they ran just a moment ago where they hit the post on the slip. This time they stayed in the lane to take away the post, and Bueckers gets you going around the corner.
McKenzie's got all 6 of her team's points, 15-6 Hopkins. Corner shot, Adams won't go. Follow-up is up and in. That's Najee with her third basket. McKenzie lost it, trying to pass it off. Woodson was there, and then she gave it away. McKenzie off the glass and in. Take advantage of the Hopkins turnover. Get the lead back to 9.
Both of these teams are clearly comfortable playing at a fast pace.
Najee has it knocked away. Steal for Park Center. Frost pull up from 15. Too strong, rebound by Agara. Bueckers pull up 3. Back iron not good. Long rebound, battled for. Still loose at midcourt. Griffin has it. Her shot up and in. 4 in a row for Park Center at 17-10. Comes Bueckers again. Adams will hand off to Nagara. Najee puts it on the floor. Oh, shot won't go. Follow up by Woodson is in.
It's a frustrating trip for Park Center. They played good defense, got them to miss, and there was 3 white jerseys in the paint, and yet they allowed Hopkins, the sole player from Hopkins in the lane, to get the rebound and put it up and in.
Griffin wide open 3 look. Too strong. Cox rebounds to Griffin, who was able to keep it before it went out of bounds. Puts up a long 3 there. Raglan gets an offensive rebound to Cox. Not good, and Bueckers has it. Bueckers trying to force her way to the hoop, missed the shot. Griffin rebounds, ahead to McKenzie. Adams will let her go, and she scores. As ugly as that last possession was, that was a good one for Park Center to get the quick outlet to McKenzie in the finish.
It feels like all 12 of their points to this point have come in transition, though. We'll see if Hopkins can make this a half-court game defensively where they really thrive.
Raglan, good outside shooter. Pretty good look there, didn't get it to go. Bueckers tips the rebound to herself. Leading the break. Woodson can't finish. Bueckers gets fouled by Griffin. And she'll go to the line for 2.
Nice finish, tough finish in transition for McKenzie to use her right hand and kind of turn her back to the basket to protect it from the defender, protect the ball from the defender. You see that she is able to score in a variety of ways.
Bueckers an 85% free throw shooter. Hits the first one. There's Brian Cosgriff, 21st season as head coach, multiple state championships for his Royals team, including 2019.
this is one of the toughest tests of the season for this Hopkins Royals team. They've got quality wins over Farmington and Chaska to this point, but to be honest, a lot of teams refuse to play Hopkins, so it's difficult for them to find challenging games early in the season. I'm sure that they're very amped up for this matchup with Park Center.
Anaya Rubin, 5'10" freshman, number 15, in for Park Center now. Bueckers makes both free throws. It's 21-12 Hopkins. Here's McKenzie, 17-footer, around and in. Boy, she's not missing tonight, Carl.
Well, we've seen her score in transition. We've seen her score physical in the paint, and now there she just came off a screen with good footwork and knocking down the mid-range jumper. A lost art in high school basketball.
Elena Contreras with the ball here. Tough shot for her in the lane, won't go. And the rebound by Rubin. Cox will hand it off to Frost. Drives to the basket and scores. First hoop tonight for Lauren Frost, the senior and one of the captains for this Park Center team. And it's 21-16. 11-point lead is down to 5 for Hopkins. Kelly Boyle also win the freshman. She has to take it away. And a steal. McKenzie finishes. She's got 14 points. And it's the three-point game.
There she is, responding to that challenge of going against the widely considered best player in the state, Paige Bueckers, but McKenzie's making a name for herself tonight.
Bueckers. Pull-up jumper is good. She has 8.
Something to keep an eye on, too, is McKenzie has been guarding Bueckers, and that can be something that leads to fatigue in the second half when you're exerting so much energy defending such a great player.
Steal for Hopkins. Contreras shot knocked out of bounds. It's Hopkins basketball. Olivia McGill, a 5'7", 8th grader, number 5 in. As you see, Kenzie stepped in the passing lane there in front of Bueckers and took it back the other way.
I'll tell you something that surprised me to this point. Both of these teams have a reputation for playing very stout defense, but neither team has had much trouble executing on offense so far in this game.
Lead pass ahead. McKenzie again. Boy, they cannot stop her. 16 points for McKenzie out of their 20, and we've played half of the first half. 3-point game again. Contreras with the basketball now for Hopkins.
When Hopkins moves Bueckers off the ball like this, they're usually trying to get her a shot for a 3. So let's see if they run a play to get her a look at a 3 here.
Bueckers, Kenzie giving her some space there. She backs off on the dribble. Goes around a screen, pull-up shot, not good. Rebounded by Cox. Bounce pass, pull-up jumper, too strong. Bueckers rebounds the miss by McGill. Lead pass ahead, Contreras gets fouled. We'll go to the line for 2.
With the exception of Hopkins slowing it down and running a few set plays, this game has been largely played in transition. Both teams are running up and down the floor. You see both teams gasping for air here during free throws. This could be a battle of which team has the best depth. McKenzie, I don't believe, is subbed out yet, and it's starting to show. You can see her breathing pretty heavy as she's lined up at the block to rebound on this free throw.
Look at her numbers so far. Not bad.
Well, and almost all of those have been about 1 foot away from the basket. You're going to shoot a much higher percentage when you're getting those kind of looks in transition.
Second one also good for Contreras. There's bench points scored in the game. 8 back to 5. A double team on McGill, knocked out of bounds by Contreras.
We have yet to see Park Center have to execute in the half court. I'm very curious to see how they will do against Hopkins' half-court defense, but we haven't seen it in, 10 minutes of basketball.
McGill driving, missed the shot. McKenzie and Bueckers fighting for the ball, and it's off McKenzie. Hopkins basketball.
I wonder if this is a situation where Coach Cosgriff and Coach Metcalf are kind of waiting for the other person to sub out their star player just so they can get their other kid off the floor and rest them. As long as Bueckers is on the floor, I think maybe we'll see McKenzie.
Bueckers missing. Najee gets the rebound, and she'll go to the line for 2.
Offensive rebounding is probably the reason that Hopkins has the lead at this stage.
Yes.
They haven't made their first shot of a possession very frequently, but they've gotten lots of second opportunities.
Najee's first trip to the free throw line tonight hits the first one. Griffin subs back in for Park Center, and Adams for Hopkins. Got them both. 27-20. Gill a little bit out of control. Double team on the sideline. And a timeout by Park Center. They sensed a turnover coming. Metcalf takes her timeout.
You know, one thing I notice here is we've got a 27-20 Hopkins lead. 5 fouls to nothing. Park Center has not yet been whistled for a foul. And if I'm
Hopkins, yeah.
Was Park Center the guest? Oh,
yes.
You're right. Yes.
I'm
sorry. But this has been a pretty physical game. We've got a veteran officiating crew here. They're going to let both of these teams kind of go at it, which is good. I think that's the way both coaches would like to have it too. And I can't say, sitting up here as a spectator, I've seen any missed calls. It's been a very cleanly played game with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 steals for layups. Both teams have played pretty clean on offense. And again, that's impressive given the defensive reputation both of these teams have.
Great crowd on hand tonight at Park Center for this showcase showdown between the Pirates and the Royals. 27-20. Hopkins looking to extend their 40-plus game winning streak. Out of the timeout, it's McKenzie. Crossover, trying to get it, and does to the baseline. Shot up by Griffin in traffic, won't go, and rebounded by Bueckers. A steal by Griffin. Lobs it ahead, McKenzie. What a great pass. And an easy finish for McKenzie, but a terrific pass from Tanae Griffin.
It's just amazing how consistently she's beating them down the floor in transition. Hopkins can't get back fast enough.
Baseline, an easy drive to the hoop, and one. KK, or Nuno Agara, scoring her second basket. She'll go to the line for a free throw. The foul is on Griffin. That's her second. So Griffin and Raglan each with 2 fouls so far. It's 16 fouls now. And you see Griffin kind of popped her on the head a little bit there, and that was the foul call. Free throw is missed, 29-22. Oh, we got McKenzie with that moment and knocks it down.
My goodness. To be able to change speeds like that and then pull back and knock down the 3. Very impressive.
Going to the corner, that shot won't go on the 3, and the rebound by McGill. It's McGill, a little floater up and in. That's a 2-point game. 29-27. Nuno Agara out front, couple of dribbles with it, picks it up and hands it off to Adams. On the block, turning and facing the basket. Woodson's shot won't go. Offensive rebound. Agara again scores in the end one.
By my count, that's about 8 points off offensive rebounds for Hopkins. Absolutely the reason they have the lead at this stage of the game.
Fouls on Chloe Sink, her first.
I know Adalia McKenzie is just a junior, but I've seen a couple of members of the Miss Basketball Committee in the crowd, which naturally they would be here with the collection of talent that we have tonight. She's making an impression on them for next year.
Yeah.
You know, she is not eligible for Miss Basketball as a junior, but I'm sure they're making mental notes already for next year with the performance she's had in this first half.
Megara can't cash in to make it a three-point play. Lead is 4. Nice little hesitation and a pull-up jumper, but Frost couldn't get it to go. Bueckers, another rebound. Had to Woodson or travel. Couldn't hold up her steps. Turnover for Hopkins. I don't know their turnover number, but for Hopkins' team, it's fairly high here in the first half. And here's a turnover by Park Center, and Woodson able to cash in, assist to Bueckers. Well, they turned her right back around and took advantage of a Pirates miscue. Ragland draws the double team. Here's a steal. Taylor Woodson, 2 more.
That is a tough matchup for Park Center. She's 5'2", and she had 2 6-footers trapping her there. It's almost an impossible situation for a 5'2" kid to pass out of.
Agara trying to get a tie-up, instead gets whistled for a foul here as you look at the steal a moment ago for Taylor Woodson. Just a freshman, Carl, number 20 there.
Does not look like it. But plays like that are going to be really crucial in this game when you can get turnovers that turn into easy layups. That's different than a turnover where you throw it out of bounds and your defense has a chance to get back and set up. When they can score quick in transition off the turnover, it's just a backbreaker.
Ragland 3. Not good. Long rebound. Pulled down by Agara. Finds Najee up. And 1. I didn't know where the. Oh no, they're going to call an offensive foul. I thought for a moment they'd call the block. So no basket. You look at it again. Cox gets into position and the foul.
And I think that was the right call. That had to be a foul on somebody.
Yeah.
And I think the offensive foul is the right call.
Ragland finally able to connect. It's the 2 for her first basket tonight. Leah Ragland coming in, averaging 9.4 a game. Ends a 6-0 Hopkins scoring run. Under 5 minutes to go here. 35-29 Royals. Pull up and in. Contreras with the basket.
I know Hopkins prides themselves on their full court pressure, but it hasn't really phased Park Center to this point.
Well, back-to-back hoops, and Ragland this time with a 3. 37-32.
I'm still convinced Park Center would struggle against Hopkins in the half court, but they haven't had to play that way yet.
Yeah, their possessions have been quick. The ones have been more, I mean, that was a little more half court, but not really. I mean, like one pass and then the shot up. Here's Bueckers, pull up just inside the free throw line and knocks it down. A quiet 10 points for Paige Bueckers, right? Already halfway to her scoring average. Bueckers draws the foul here, commits the foul rather, and that'll be her first, team's third.
Very little has come easy for Bueckers because she's got Adalia McKenzie guarding her. And I think that's the other thing that's so impressive about McKenzie so far tonight. She's putting up tons of points on the offensive end, and she's guarding one of the best players in the country on the defensive end, and she's not sagging in any part of her game.
39-32. Here's Griffin for 3. McKenzie gets the rebound and scores. She's got 23.
Important for Park Center to get some scoring off of offensive rebounds and leave it to their leading rebounder to do it. She does it all for them. She does it all.
Bueckers, Woodson releases, scores, and is fouled.
This feels almost sacrilegious to say, but I feel like Adalia McKenzie is to Park Center what Paige Bueckers is to Hopkins. Those two kind of cancel each other out. The difference is kind of the secondary players for both teams. Hopkins has so much length and so much strength. And it's not that Park Center's supporting cast are slouches. They're good basketball players. They're just not as tall and fast and strong. And that's something that you can't coach.
Pirates turnover. Here's Bueckers slicing to the basket, around and in. McKenzie behind the back dribble. She'll take it to the basket and gets fouled here by Adams.
And this
Or
will be
is it going to be on Bueckers?
This will be the first time in 15 minutes of basketball that Park Center goes to the free throw line.
Bueckers picking up her second. And it is indeed the first free throws tonight for the Pirates. McKenzie will go and shoot 2.
And that's always an indication of how physical a team is playing too. Physical doesn't just mean on defense. You have to be physical on offense too, and you have to attack and screen hard and do all those kinds of things to generate good offense. If you're not getting to the free throw line, that's a signal that you're not being physical enough on offense. You're not attacking the rim enough. You're not being as aggressive with the dribble as you need to be at times.
Second one is also good. Bueckers goes out with a second foul, and with her out, that allows Barb Metcalf to substitute Adalia McKenzie out. And then Rubin is back in. Ball knocked away by Anaya Rubin and taken back briefly by Hopkins, and now it's Park Center with the basketball. Cox, tough shot on the floater, not good. Follow-up around and down for Griffin. Najee to the basket, scores. She's got 10 points.
For viewers at home, that girl is 6'4", and she just put the ball on the floor and took it to the rim like a guard.
Shot from the corner, that's off the top of the basket and off of Agar's hands, out of bounds. It's Park Center basketball. Bueckers' rest was brief, as was McKenzie. They're both back in.
They will be in tandem as long as neither one of them's in foul trouble. If one is on the floor, the other will be.
Just over 2 minutes to play in what's been an entertaining first half of basketball tonight here at Park Center. Griffin to the basket, too strong. Cox rebounds, dribbles out with Najee on her, finds McKenzie. Why not?
I would say she's having a Christian Laettner type game against Kentucky, but it's only the first half. I think she's about 11 for 12. That was his whole game. This is only the first half.
To the corner, a Bueckers 3 is good.
Good ball movement by Hopkins there.
Raglan bounce pass for Frost. Slices nicely to the basket, couldn't finish. Woodson rebounds. Down to a minute 15 to play in the half. Taylor Woodson, the corner.
That's a big shot.
3 is good.
That's a big shot.
KK Adams with a 3.
They stopped the game because I think Paige Bueckers got hit in the face. I don't think she's bleeding, but I think she might have got hit in the nose.
Woodson finding the open player. And Adams with her first basket tonight.
So if you're Park Center, you say this is a chance for us to make a run. We've got to do it with their best player off the floor. McKenzie's on the floor for us. Let's see if they can cut into the lead here in the final minute of the first half.
Bueckers right back at the scoring table. She'll be back in next whistle. Knock away by Adams, trying to force the steal, and still Park Center basketball.
I just looked up at the scoreboard and noticed one of these teams is already past halfway to 100.
Right.
We knew that both of these teams had high-octane offenses, but we thought maybe their defenses would kind of cancel each other out and be more of a dogfight. But this has been an offensive display by both squads.
Tanae Griffin, nice move, gets herself open and floats the shot in. 6 points now for the junior. .35 seconds to play in the half. Raglan on Adams. Agar comes out with it, gets it into the hands of Bueckers. They work the clock a little bit here, 25 to go.
If Hopkins is playing for the last shot, expect them to take a shot with about 5 seconds left on the clock, because that allows them, if they miss, to have a chance to get an offensive rebound.
Under 10 to go. Woodson into the hand of Bueckers with 5 seconds. Hits the screen. Hits the shot from the top of the key. A 2-pointer gives Hopkins 54 points at halftime, 17 by Paige Bueckers. And despite a 27-point first half for Adalia McKenzie, the Pirates find themselves, Carl, down by 12 points.
I think we all need to let that sink in for a second. She has 27 points at halftime against Hopkins. Literally before the game, Coach Metcalf said to me, I don't think that Hopkins is going to allow her to get 30 tonight. Well, I think Coach Metcalf's probably pretty elated to be wrong about that at this stage, but I mean, I think a lot of us are surprised. Not to say that anybody questioned her talent, but to do it against the best team in the state, it's just jaw-dropping.
54-42, Hopkins leads Park Center. We'll take time out here and be back with more Park Center Holiday Showcase Girls Basketball live on CCX.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
With Carl Pearson, I'm John Jacobson. It's 54-42. Hopkins, number 1 on the state, leading number 3, Park Center. We take a breath at halftime and look at some of the first half highlights from this one. And a lot of that first half, Carl, we were up and down the court. It was a track meet.
It was very fast-paced, and again, both teams comfortable playing that way.
Adalia McKenzie's been all over the court tonight, doing some great work. Today Griffin missed on that one, and there's McKenzie cleaning up for the offensive rebound. And then McKenzie pulls up with Bueckers in front of her, and a great shot from the free throw line to knock down 2. Paige Bueckers misses on that one. Woodson fighting for the rebound, and ended up in the hands of Griffin, who was able to score 2 of her 6 points on that sequence. And a steal for McKenzie, putting in 2 more. And a steal for Griffin. And a great lob ahead to McKenzie with Woodson pretty close by. Still able to find her player. Great look there. Bueckers, that was a terrific dish down to Maya Najee for 2. As you look at some Hopkins highlights, Taylor Woodson's been very effective down low tonight for the Royals. And Bueckers doing what she does. Able to lay in 2 of her 17 points. And the crossover and the pull-up from 12, you can't defend that one.
And if you do, she'll drop an assist to one of the players in the paint.
And a steal here for Taylor Woodson. Freshman goes in and puts home 2 more of her points. Good ball movement. They get it to Bueckers in the corner and drains a 3-pointer. Not a lot of threes actually in this game. Each team has made 2 3-pointers so far. McKenzie, 27 points in the first half. I've been doing high school basketball a long time. I don't think I've seen that in the game that I've been at. And one player's got that many points in a half, and she's done it tonight. 6 points for Griffin, 5 for Ragulin, their top 3 scorers. Bueckers with 17, Woodson 14, and Najee with 10.
Well, what we see here, though, is it's those secondary players that are making the difference in the game. McKenzie is certainly carrying the load for her team, but can she get some? Can Frost get in double figures? Can Tanae Griffin get in double figures and help her out? Because I think you and I probably both think it's going to be really hard for her to sustain this pace in the second half, especially considering that she's guarding Paige Bueckers.
Take one final timeout, and then we'll be back with the second half of play on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
(54-42) Hopkins leads Park Center as we get ready to start the second half. Park Center will have the opening possession. 12-point deficit is the biggest one the Pirates have faced tonight. They got it as close as 2, Carl, in the first half after trailing by 11. How did they get back into this?
Well, they're going to have a chance to hit some threes because Hopkins came out in a 2-3 zone to start the second half here, so they're mixing it up a little bit on defense.
And Griffin able to get the ball to Cox for 2. They get a turnover and turn it into points after the initial missed 3 by Frost. First Hopkins possession of the second half. Hope you've enjoyed our telecast so far tonight from Park Center. Here's Paige Bueckers, a little hesitation and kicks it out to the corner. A 3-pointer up and good for Nunu Arcara. She's got 9 points.
Hopkins still in the zone. They extend that zone though and get a couple of players with length way up high. Again, I think this is really going to cause problems for Park Center.
Ragulin in the corner. Some tall trees to try to pass through and couldn't get the ball to Cox. And a turnover. Bueckers. Another corner 3 up and in. This time it's K.K. Adams with her second 3-pointer. So back-to-back threes for Hopkins on the possessions to start the second half. All of a sudden their lead is 16. Yeah, timeout early for Barb Metcalf.
Well, we didn't see as many assists out of Bueckers in the first half because of the way that they were defending her. They didn't put 2 or 3 people on her when she would penetrate. They kind of stayed with their player and expected McKenzie to be able to guard her one-on-one. Now we're seeing Bueckers draw help, and she's so good at her court vision is so outstanding. She's finding open players in the corner, and again, we see her impact the game through other ways beyond scoring.
There's the shooting numbers for each of those players in the first half.
11 for 12 in the first half. I mean, you just can't get more efficient than that. It's remarkable. And we saw McKenzie score in almost every way you can conceive of. She scored in transition. She scored off offensive rebounds. She got a steal for a layup. She shot mid-range jumpers. She even shot a step-back 3. I mean, I can't find a hole in her game. She's a terrific rebounder. She's defended Bueckers very admirably. I don't know that anybody can contain Paige Bueckers, but I think she's done a pretty nice job on her overall. It's been a tremendous effort by both of these star players.
How about Paige Bueckers, though, and what she's done for Minnesota basketball and brought a lot of attention to the Hopkins program and done great things at the international level for USA basketball, and obviously headed next year to UConn as the nation's top recruit.
The thing I hope people understand and appreciate is that after she steps foot on the UConn campus, in short order, she'll be one of the best 15 or 20 players in the country as a college freshman. I mean, she's that remarkable of a player.
Pirates defend the ball and force an inbound play here for Hopkins. Woodson's got to turn and give it back, and McKenzie almost had another steal. He is so quick and so good at anticipating where that pass is going to be.
You know, the thing that's difficult about her is at 5'10", she's kind of a tweener. She doesn't have a true position. I don't really know who's recruiting her at the moment, but somebody's going to be really happy to have her on their team, even though she doesn't fit the traditional mold.
Well, how about the threes raining down for Hopkins to start the second half? Agar with another one. They've got 9 points off 3 in the first 2 minutes.
This is the worst possible combination for Park Center. That is their 4th turnover in a row against Hopkins' 2-3 zone. And then Hopkins is coming down at the other end, and they've hit 3 threes.
And the lead is now 19.
I think this was a really good adjustment by Coach Cosgrove, by the way, to make Park Center try to execute in the half court. Take away their transition. I think the 2-3 is a brilliant move.
Woodson to Bueckers. Backs out a little bit and then on the wing. 3 from one of the bigs. When Najee can hit a 3, and you know things are going well. Not that you can't shoot from there, but you're not expecting her necessarily to step out and hit one. Frost trying to answer for Park Center, and that goes out of bounds. My goodness.
As a coach, you just throw up your hands. I mean, if the 6'4" girl is going to knock down threes, there's not a lot you can do defensively. You know, you can't guard everybody everywhere. You got to usually sacrifice something, but Hopkins can exploit whatever it is that you give them on defense.
Here's Taylor Woodson over to Paige Bueckers. Corner, Agara, 3. This one doesn't go on. McKenzie rebounds. And then McKenzie, a little careless with the basketball, but got it back. Gives it off to Frost. 3 for her, comes up short. Griffin gets the rebound and her pass behind Ragland out of bounds. Turnover for the Pirates.
Hopkins' length was a problem when they were playing man-to-man. I think it's going to be an even bigger detriment to Park Center on offense now that Hopkins is in this zone. Because in a zone defense, you typically play with your hands up and you focus on the ball, and it's going to be very, very challenging for Park Center to get quality shots.
I just looked up the season stats for Hopkins. That was the first three-pointer that Najee has attempted this season. This time gets a little closer to where she normally does and misses, and then Woodson can't finish, but they get the ball back, and this time Woodson will put it away. 16 now for Taylor Woodson.
It's gut check time for Park Center. They have not faced this kind of a deficit. They haven't had much adversity to this point in the season. We're going to have to see how they respond now. And there's McKenzie. She's going to challenge Hopkins, taking it to the rim, being a leader for her team, and not going to sit back and be content to let this one get out of reach.
Fouls on Maya Najee. That's her second. And Adalia McKenzie the line for 2. She shot the only 2 Pirate free throws in the first half, made them both. That free throw ends a 14-0 scoring run, Carl, for Hopkins.
And 4 of those were three-pointers.
Right. Second one out, and Woodson rebounds. Bueckers trying to get to the cutter and Najee, and a good job by Kayla Cox stepping in front and getting the steal for the Pirates.
Very well defended back pick play.
Cox for 3. That won't go. Frost also rebound to chase it down and finds McKenzie. Great finish and a terrific pass by Frost to find McKenzie, who now has 30 points. But for the Pirates, it's still a 21-point deficit.
Park Center looks like they want to shoot their way back into this with threes. That's a difficult thing to do. When you're trailing by 20, for whatever reason, it seems like the rim gets a little tighter.
McKenzie, another steal, and 2 more. (68-49). Here's Bueckers, nice little hesitation, gets to the basket and scores.
She's so adept at changing speeds, and she can get that defender stopped and then accelerate. She goes 0 to 60 so quickly, and that's one of the things that makes her really difficult to defend.
Frost wide open as Griffin. Oh, and can't get it to go. Najee rebounds. Bueckers gets around McKenzie. Open 3 for missed by Adams. Late pass ahead. Ragland able to save it for the Pirates.
Smart play.
And then the ball deflected, and it comes to Bueckers. Bueckers, a little hesitation to the basket. I don't think there'll be a continuation there. It would be in the NBA, but I think the foul clearly before the shot by Griffin.
I don't know if the viewers at home could hear this, but there was an audible reaction from the crowd on that move. It looked like she was cheating, but she wasn't. It was a fantastic move. And this sold-out crowd getting their money's worth here when it comes to the entertainment provided by these two teams.
Well, they did give her the basket, Carl. I was kidding. I didn't think that they were going to count that. But they did.
NBA rules.
Apparently. Bueckers with 22 points now. Following Griffin was her third. Ragulin, a good tip up won't go. Rubin put it back out. Cross floater for two.
One thing that Park Center's been able to do against this zone is get second shots. And that's always one of the weaknesses of a 2-3 zone. You tend to not have people assigned to box out, and you may give up some more offensive rebounds, but credit Park Center for getting those offensive rebounds. It's not a given that you're going to get them.
Bueckers, offensive foul.
I'm anxious to see if we can see the replay on this one. I'm anxious to see where she was positioned in regards to the charge circle. Let's see if she was outside of it. Oh, indeed she was. She was well outside of it. Terrific defensive positioning.
Third foul on Bueckers. Frost off to Cox. Frost goes down. A little slow to get up, and then we get a foul push. Whistled against Hopkins. That'll be on Adams, her first.
The next 4 minutes or so are really important for Park Center. If they want to get back in this game, they've got to trim this lead to around 10, maybe 12 sometime in the next 4 minutes. That's easier said than done, of course, against Hopkins, but that should be their goal if they want to have a chance to win this. Oh, that's a difficult turnover right there. McKenzie, in fact, I'm not sure that that's a backcourt violation. I think she caught the ball with 1 foot on the half-court line, and then she stepped across, and we heard a reaction from the crowd, and I think that compelled the official to think, oh, I must have missed something. That's a backcourt violation. I'm not sure that it was, but nonetheless, it's Hopkins' ball.
Now she finds Bueckers, gets fouled by McKenzie. The first foul tonight on Adalia McKenzie. Bueckers will go to the line for two.
You know, that's another talent, to be able to defend a player like Paige Bueckers and not get in foul trouble. I mean, I think it's probably pretty clear how impressed I am with her. I don't know that I can be more effusive of a player, but I was a varsity head coach for 17 years, and I've seen all of the best players that Minnesota's had to offer. My first year in Minnesota, Lindsay Whalen was a senior. My mind is blown right now of all the things that I'm seeing her do. It's just amazing.
75-51. Hopkins led by a dozen at halftime. And they really did open it up here in the first 7 minutes. McKenzie with a three. .35 points for Adalia McKenzie. And yet her team trails by 21. Through no fault of her own, certainly, in this one. And a steal for McGill. Nice little pass ahead. How about that? Kind of rolled it ahead for McKenzie, who somehow got past the defense again and scored.
She just gets up the floor so quickly, and she doesn't look fast. She just accelerates, though, and she kind of glides down the floor.
Hopkins takes a timeout. What Olivia McGill, just an 8th grader.
I like to see the enthusiasm out of her, too. I mean, her team's still down by 19, but you can see by the way that she responded when Hopkins called the timeout, she still believes that they can come back and win this game, and that's going to help lift up her teammates. That body language is really important at the high school level. I think a lot of people came to the gym tonight knowing all about Paige Bueckers. I think people are going to walk away tonight saying, well, Bueckers is obviously outstanding. But my goodness, do we have a kid on the horizon next year that's just going to be the talk of the state.
Class 4A rankings as of this week. Hopkins #1, Farmington #2, and Hopkins beat Farmington by a good margin, just like they're doing tonight to Park Center so far. Whiteside #4, their only loss came against Park Center. They have yet to play Hopkins this season. There you look at the rest of the top 20 in Class 4A. Minnetonka we saw earlier today on CCX in a win over Champlin Park, ranked 14th. Here's Cox and gets it blocked. Blocked by Agara. McKenzie to McGill. McGill, how about that off the glass?
The 8th grader is inspiring her team. Playing with a lot of passion.
Woodson lob into Najee, gets fouled by Rubin. Only the 3rd team foul this half on Park Center. 3 also on Hopkins. Inbound to Taylor Woodson. It won't go, and she gets fouled, and Rubin will pick up another. And Taylor Woodson will go to the line.
What Hopkins did on that possession is something that Park Center has not been able to do, and quite frankly, they don't have the personnel to do it against Hopkins. They can't just throw it inside and let a big kid attack the rim and draw the foul. That's something that sets Hopkins apart from Park Center and really a lot of the other teams in 4A. Obviously, the other thing that always sets Hopkins apart is their remarkable depth. They pull kids off the bench that are going to be Division I players, and virtually no other team has that luxury.
There was out one of their key players, Amaya Battle, who's out and will be out for a couple more weeks. Out injured. Still able to get it done. And McGill lost it in traffic as Hopkins forces the turnover. Bueckers lob ahead. Woodson has to get rid of it. Gara and McGill on her and able to release the ball to Najee. Najee lost it, knocked out of bounds by Cox.
The refs are going to talk it over.
Yeah, I might go in just off. Oh, they're going to call a technical. Somebody said something. Bar Metcalf giving an explanation of what it was.
Well,
I think it was Cox.
That could be some of the frustration setting in now as Park Center, undefeated, 11-0, looks up at the scoreboard and says, what's going on here? We're in our home gym. We thought that we were going to match up better with Hopkins than this. And, they're still high school kids. They can lose their composure at times.
Well, Bueckers will shoot the technical. And why not when you make 85% of your free throws? And one more coming. There's a look at Amaya Battle. The sophomore is out right now. And they expect her back in a few weeks.
Well, this may not be the only time these teams match up this year. And I suspect that that's something that Coach Metcalf's going to say after the game. Hey, we want to get another shot at them. And when we do, it's going to be under the bright lights at the state tournament. And we're going to learn from this. And we're going to have a chance to go out and knock them off in the game that matters most. I mean, we still have 9 minutes to play here, but barring a big surge here by Park Center, Hopkins seemingly in control at the moment.
Najee handing off to Bueckers. Floater way short and rebounded by Griffin. Nice move by Griffin. Her pass airmailed over the head of McKenzie out of bounds.
You know, something that is noticeable about what Park Center's doing on defense, they've really amped up their ball pressure. And that's gotten to Hopkins a little bit. West Virginia coach Bob Huggins used a great analogy. He said it's very much like pressuring the quarterback. You got to get a pass rush on the quarterback. If you do, they'll throw more errant passes. When you pressure the basketball, they're not going to pass it as cleanly. You're going to be able to generate more turnovers. And we're starting to see Park Center rush the quarterback and get a good pass rush here.
Wide open, Najee for two.
And you have to put pressure on the ball in order to make that a difficult pass into the post.
It was a good pass.
It was a very good pass, and there was no backside help at that particular juncture either.
Najee with 15 points. It's 80-58. Here's Griffin up, not good. And a rebound by Najee. Quick outlet to Bueckers. Laid it ahead, and a foul, or a block rather, by McGill.
I like the competitive spirit she's
Olivia
playing
McGill
with.
a lot. Blocks the shot here of Akara. Yeah, nice
She
job.
is not backing down.
No.
She doesn't care what the score is. She's going to come at you.
And we might get a foul here, though. You can see her as we looked at her defending Woodson a little too close. He'll pick up her second. 16 fouls now on the Pirates.
I got to tip my hat to Aaliyah Regulian. She has got a tough matchup no matter who she's guarding out there with her 5'2" stature. And Hopkins hasn't really exploited her much. So that's a tip of the hat to her.
Bueckers' shot wouldn't go. Woodson couldn't get it to go. Here's McKenzie ahead for McGill.
Nice left-handed finish.
Gill with 6 points off the bench. 80-60. Just over 7.5 minutes to play. Well, comfortable lead, but knowing any coach, especially Coach Cosgrove, he's not going to relax yet, right?
No, you got to get inside of 3 minutes with a 20-point lead before you start to kind of catch your breath and say, all right, I think we might have this one.
Hand off to Bueckers. We'll back it out here. They'll work some clock.
Well, I think they recognized that Park Center was starting to pressure. And when a team pressures, if you can spread them out like this, it makes it a lot tougher to defend.
Short that time for Agara, well short. McGill for Griffin. Griffin spins on Bueckers and draws the foul.
Nice move. She used a couple of shot fakes and pivoted well.
So that is 4 on Paige Bueckers.
Yeah, we'll see if Coach Cosgrove decides to sit her down for another minute or two. Or I think if he lets her stay in, that's an indication that he feels pretty comfortable. If he's going to let it ride here for the next minute or two and keep her on the floor, but nope, he's paranoid just like almost every other coach. He's going to take her out for a minute or two, and if it gets cut to about 15 here in the next minute, we'll see her back out there. But he's going to try and protect her just in case Park Center makes her run.
Excuse me, Carl. Elena Contreras in for her, for Bueckers, as Griffin makes both free throws. Hopkins back on offense. There's Najee in the paint for 2. So we talked so much about Bueckers, and then obviously, why wouldn't you? McKenzie drives and goes to the line. These are the point totals of Najee. She's got 17, Carl, and Taylor Woodson 18.
Well, and what they've done with Najee here the last couple of possessions is they've just really spread the floor. I wouldn't call it 4 out, 1 in necessarily, but they've spread out really well and isolated her in the post because I think they recognize, boy, Park Center just doesn't have a kid that has the physical skills to match up with her in terms of height. So she's getting some good looks. And she's converting. It's not a given that a kid is going to score when they turn and shoot from 2 feet away, but she's been able to finish.
Second one is good for .38 tonight for Adalia McKenzie. Well, she was a very good player last year, and I've seen her just a couple of times this year. She has really improved to this season even. It's still just a junior. Rebound by Griffin on the miss ahead to McKenzie. Oh, that one spins out. Out of bounds off of Park Center.
She got behind the Hopkins defense again, though. I would imagine 12 to 14 of her points at least have come that way in transition.
Contreras, he'll hand off. Gara picks up her dribble, almost traveled. McGill knocks the ball away from Contreras.
And I can promise you, Coach Cosgrove and his coaching staff addressed that at halftime. We have got to get back in transition. We can't let her beat us back in transition. And Hopkins has incredibly smart players and they're still getting beat in transition because she is that talented.
There we go. McKenzie for 2 off the assist from Ragulin.
And that may be what this conversation is about during the timeout. How is she consistently getting behind us? We have got to have somebody back for balanced defense every time we put a shot up.
Park Center uses the timeout. They just have 1 left. McKenzie finishes for her 39th and 40th points of the night.
Well, Park Center is going to have to do something defensively differently to change the game and the course of the game right now. So typically after a made basket like that, if you take a timeout, you're probably drawing something up to apply some full court pressure.
Upcoming games on CCX. We're off until next Friday. Boys basketball. Carl, you're old school. You coach girls basketball, I know, but boys basketball, Champlin Park hosting Hopkins. It's next Friday at 7 o'clock. Northwest Suburban Conference girls hockey from New Hope Ice Arena, Saturday afternoon the 4th. Osseo Park Center at Armstrong Cooper. Blaine at Maple Grove girls hockey on Tuesday the 7th. And then boys basketball, Park Center at Armstrong, Thursday, January 9th. All of those games live on channel 799, CCX1, and CCXmedia.org.
Something that just registered with me is how hot it is here in the gym, and that's when you know you've got a great crowd, and it's kind of fun when it's such a big crowd that the temperature in the gym goes up. If it was a little closer game, it'd be even more hot in the gym, but I enjoy that feeling that you get when you have a packed gym like this.
You can get a few more people in here, but not many. Najee, glass and good.
And I'll tell you what, Park Center, Tanae Griffin did everything right there. She moved her feet, she kept her hands straight up. It's just the height mismatch is too much.
McKenzie couldn't get that shot to goal, and then a foul. I think this is going to go on Woodson. That'll be her second. Team 6, both teams will be shooting 1-on-1 from here on out with 5:34 to go in the game. Griffin had an open lane toward the basket. Hopkins closed it in a hurry, and they forced a turnover. Look like she was going to get all the way to the rim. Vergara back out high. Najee's shot, back iron not good. Ragulin is fouled. Adams commits the foul. And Adalia Ragulin will go to the line for a 1-on-1. Cross back in, Cox out for the Pirates. Comes out, rebound to Najee.
Testament to Hopkins' discipline on defense. That is one of the few trips to the free throw line for Park Center tonight. That's always a sign that you play outstanding defense. If you can keep your opponent off the line while you're defending.
Drive by Woodson gets fouled. She'll go to the line. Foul will be on Tanae Griffin. That's her fourth.
So Hopkins came in averaging 88.4 points per game, and it looks certain that they're going to reach their average and surpass it. Park Center averaged 76.2. They've got a shot at hitting their average. The thing that's different is Hopkins has held opponents to 44 a game. Park Center has held opponents to 58. Well, Hopkins had 52 at halftime.
Right. Woodson, second free throw, also comes off. Whistle might have had McKenzie in the lane too early, and so Woodson will get a third crack at it. This one is good. Rubin in for Griffin for Park Center. And now Bueckers will check in. Had a few minutes rest on the bench. Has the 4 fouls, but her team up by 20 with under 5 to go.
This is always a tough decision for the coach with the lead. How much longer do you play your starters? Because you don't want to risk an injury, a freak injury in this final 2 minutes that they're likely to play. But you don't want to take for granted that the game's over either. And so this is some of the scariest 2 minutes for a coach often when they're protecting that 20-point lead late in the game.
Cross basket cuts the margin to 18. Adams lobbing into traffic. Tough pass. Frost had it, but then stepped on the baseline. It's back over to Hopkins.
I see a few little girls in the stands wearing UConn sweatshirts, so I think we know who they came to see tonight.
Shot missed by Najee. Rubin has it. Pass, though, gets picked off by Bueckers.
We've been very effusive about McKenzie. Paige Bueckers doesn't really have any holes in her game either. I'm kind of interested to see. I'm sure Coach Ariyama will feel differently when she arrives on campus in the fall, but I'm anxious to find out what he says she needs to work on, because as a fan in Minnesota, we see all the good. I don't see a lot of blemishes.
Adams gets fouled. She'll go to the line here for a 1-and-1, an 8th team foul on the Pirates, and we'll get the bonus. Adams with one of those early threes. Park Center Hopkins hits 4 of them in the first 3 minutes of the second half and really kind of put this game away.
Well, and they had a run in the first half that gave them some separation. And then, yes, they started the second half on fire, and Park Center had 4 consecutive turnovers against the 2-3 zone. And it's basically stayed at that 20-point margin since then. Hopkins grew the margin to 20, and it stayed there for the balance of the second half.
Not as many shots have fallen here in the second half for McKenzie. Missed on that last possession. But then we have a steal by McGill and a 3-on-1. Nice dish off, and Frost with the finish.
Well, I think a lot of people could have anticipated some tail off from McKenzie after the first half that she had, and drawing the task of defending Paige Bueckers.
Najee's shot not good, tipped out of bounds off Rubin. Well, it's not like she's been horrible. She's got 13 points in the second half, I should point out.
And
She's
that's
got
what
40
I was just going to say.
Game.
A tired
I'm
McKenzie.
just saying she missed a couple, that's all.
A tired McKenzie is still one of the best players in the state. Any coach would take her on their team when she's exhausted.
Adams with Ragulin right up in her face. Woods in a little trouble with it, able to hand it off to Bueckers. No foul either here on Frost or McKenzie.
I guarantee you that the Hopkins coaching staff loves the pressure that Park Center is applying right now, because this is not something they're going to see against a lot of the opponents that they have the rest of the way. This is a chance for Hopkins to get better, and they're handling the pressure pretty well.
Bueckers' free throw spins out. Doesn't get the bonus, and Frost rebounds. To the corner, Ragulin, 3 is good. Leah Ragulin, the first 3-pointer in the second half. She's got 8 points.
That's the lead to 14.
86-72. Pull up 2 is good. Tough shot. Adams gets it to go. Frost lost it. Agara trying to finish, missed. Well defended there, and the Pirates will turn it back to offense. Here's McGill leading the break, dish off for Frost. Off Bueckers, out of bounds.
Great hustle, though, by Paige Bueckers. Sprinting the floor in transition. She was able to knock that pass away and give her team a chance to set up on defense now.
Griffin in. And Rubin out.
I did think of one thing that Paige Bueckers can do when she gets to college, and that's put on a little weight. I think she's going to look a lot different in 3 or 4 years than the Paige Bueckers we see on the floor right now. the weight room at the college level is going to help her a lot.
Adams knocks the ball away.
I think the expectation among many is that we'll see her in the WNBA someday. But most of the women in the WNBA do not have a frame like hers. Maybe long and lanky, but they're more filled out. And I think that that's something that we'll see happen with her over the next couple of years.
Ragland knocks down another three. Back to back for the seniors. Got 11 points now. That's 88-75.
13-point deficit with 2 minutes to go is not impossible. If they can cut it inside of 10 in the next 15 seconds or so, this gym's going to get pretty loud, I think.
Inbound, it's a steal for Park Center. Frost stepping in front of Agara.
They're saying Hopkins stepped out of bounds there as they were fighting for the ball, so it'll be Park Center ball.
So they do force the turnover. Only a couple seconds off the clock. Here's McKenzie. Step back, jumper over Woodson, not good. Griffin gets fouled from behind by Naji, and Griffin will go to the line. No chance to convert for the Pirates from the free throw line. Carl with the clock stopped with a minute 50 to go.
Well, it's important that she'll make her second free throw here because that will allow Park Center to set up their full court press. If she were to miss it, it's a lot tougher to pressure full court.
All of her points here in the second half have come from the free throw line. Second one also good. 88-77. Inbound to Bueckers, gets fouled. That'll be the 10th team foul on Park Center, and now a two-shot foul for Bueckers as McKenzie picks up her third foul.
Park Center was double teaming Bueckers there, almost got the steal. And if they can't get it into Bueckers, there was nobody else up there for Hopkins to relieve that pressure. So we'll see if Park Center is able to keep the ball out of Bueckers' hands. That's easier said than done, but that's clearly what they're trying to do here in the closing 2 minutes.
Bueckers had missed her last two free throws. It's the first one. And now 28 points for the senior. All-time leading scorer in Hopkins girls basketball history, past Leslie Knight last month.
Think about all the tremendous players they've had. That's really saying something if you're the all-time leading scorer at Hopkins.
Griffin's shot won't go. Rebound to Woodson and is fouled.
Well, assuming Hopkins survives this final minute and 39 seconds, I know another thing that Coach Cosgriff is going to appreciate is the fact that they had to deal with some full court pressure from Park Center. That's another thing that Hopkins just doesn't see. Nobody's dumb enough to try and press Hopkins. You do it out of desperation late in the game. This is, it's the smart thing to do at this particular juncture, but nobody starts the game pressing Hopkins, and so it's a chance for them to work on their press break against a quality opponent.
And Park Center did force a fair number of turnovers, especially in that first half. Woodson does connect on the second. She's got 20 points now in the game.
I don't think Park Center has anything to hang their head about if this doesn't go their way. I think they're probably going to go in the locker room and say, hey, we didn't play our best game as a team. Adalia McKenzie probably played one of her best games, but her supporting cast could have done a little bit more to help her.
McKenzie with it. Tough. Look at a little spin turnaround shot. Won't get it to go. Griffin, though, gets position, gets the rebound, gets tied up. Possession here will give it back to Hopkins.
And at this stage, Park Center really needs to have 5 people attacking the glass. They need every offensive rebound if they want to climb back in the closing minute 14.
foul defending Bueckers before the ball even gets inbounded.
I think we saw a little bit of her basketball IQ there. I don't know that she got fouled as much as she may have made it appear, but that's heads-up play by her. She's helping the officials make the call. Instead of trying to get the ball in bounds against a double team, now she gets to go shoot free throws and they can't play defense on her.
Rounded in. Second one comes out. But Woodson has the board and gets in, and she gets fouled. Well, the Royals are getting to practice free throws late, Carl.
And you know, Park Center's hung around just enough that it hasn't allowed Hopkins to really go to their bench. They've had to keep their main players out there. And now you get with a minute left and you kind of say, well, geez, what's the point at this point of going to the bench? So we might see both teams keep their best out there to finish it out. But it's been a wildly entertaining game, and the fans have gotten their money's worth, that's to be sure.
Woodson makes the second free throw.
I suppose I should attach a caveat to that. It's been wildly entertaining if you like offense. Defensive-oriented coaches are probably pulling their hair out right now.
McKenzie, pass gets deflected. Turnover for Park Center. They've had more than their share of turnovers here tonight, and the Hopkins defense has a tremendous amount to do with that. But then Hopkins turns it right back over on a traveling call. Park Center will have a home game in their next game Tuesday, January 7th. Back into Northwest Suburban Conference play against Elk River. First late conference game for the Royals also on the 7th as they host Edina. Frost, no look pass to Griffin. Whistle, and before the pass, another foul. Well, offensively for Park Center, Carl, they've beaten their scoring average. So McKenzie had 40 points. They got some contributions from other players. Problem was they weren't able to stop Hopkins, and that's not an uncommon problem for their opponents.
Hopkins has so many weapons. They can beat you inside. They can beat you outside. We saw the barrage of threes at the start of the second half. And then when you have a point guard the caliber of Paige Bueckers out there making, flawless decision making. She makes good decisions nearly every time she has the ball in her hands. It's just overwhelming. After watching this game, it makes me feel like somebody's going to have to catch Hopkins on a bad night. Hopkins is going to have an off night, because if they're on top of their game, even if everybody else that they're playing is on top of their game, it's going to be hard to beat Hopkins.
Steal for Najee, and they can dribble this one out if they like. See if Park Center chooses to foul again. They do, and Adams will go to the line for two.
I don't know if every coach thinks this way, but at this stage, I'm thinking I don't want them to get 100.
Right.
There's some pride about that, right? You got to keep them under 100, and so I would stop fouling. I would let the clock run out. I do not want to see 100 by my opponent on my home scoreboard.
Adams' first free throw is up and in. .96. Ragulin fouled out on that last foul. She finishes the night with 11 points. KK Adams into double figures now scoring. They are at 97. Frost behind the back and gets fouled. That'll be on Nagara. Her second, 9th team foul, so it's a 1-and-1 here.
Well, one coach is going to be more happy than the other. I think both coaches are genuinely going to be happy with this game and what it's done for their team. I think both teams probably got better tonight, and there's a lot of season left. So nothing to hang your head about if you're Park Center.
97 points for the Hopkins Royals. And they have won 43 straight basketball games. Double digits every victory this season, all by, this is their closest game, Carl. 18 points, 97 to 79. Adalia McKenzie, how about her, though? 40 points tonight for the Pirates, but not enough. Paige Bueckers with 30, and great contributions offensively from Woodson and Najee, Gara. They had those threes we talked about early in the second half that created some separation that Park Center could never recover from.
I'll tell you what, I came in here tonight never having seen Adalia McKenzie play, and I'm going to leave here tonight never forgetting seeing her play.
Carl's fun basketball tonight, wasn't it? I mean, like you said, if you like defense, this wasn't your game, but entertaining game to watch, I think, for our fans and for everybody that was here at Park Center.
Truly two of the top teams, not just in 4A, but in the entire state of Minnesota and probably in the upper Midwest. I mean, Hopkins is ranked, what, second or third in the nation by USA Today? And so Park Center can't be that far behind.
McKenzie getting hugs all around, and Park Center, you said they'll learn from this. They'll get it back in the gym and practice here. And holiday week next week, and they'll have some practices. And then I mentioned they're back in gym and on the 7th. And it's a great Pirates team. Boy, they're fun to watch, aren't they?
And sometimes a loss like this can help you refocus, especially at this stage of the season. You know, they've had so many good wins against Stillwater, St. Michael, Albertville, Wayzata. The kids can start to feel a little bit invincible. And now, I'll bet you anything, they're going to have more focused practices when they come back on Monday.
And for Hopkins, I mentioned their 11th win of the season without a loss. Take on Aquinas next Friday at home, and then that home game I mentioned against Edina. We'll get to see them against Wayzata down the road, a team they beat 3 times last year. Wayzata was ranked 2 much of the season last year. Couldn't beat Hopkins. They'll get their first crack at them in January. And Wayzata with a very good team, obviously, again, with a lot of the same players back from last year.
That's another one where you better get to the gym early, because girls basketball fans around the state circle those on their calendar. Wayzata versus Hopkins, you're seeing, again, 2 of the premier teams in the state. And Wayzata is one of those handful of teams that may have a chance to knock off Hopkins on a given night.
Well, that will do it for our coverage tonight from the Park Center Girls Basketball Showcase. Minnetonka win earlier tonight over Champlin Park. And then this evening, the premier game, Hopkins, number 1 in the state. They are still number 1 and undefeated. 97-79, the Pirates' first loss of the year. For Carl Pearson and all of our crew here tonight, I'm John Jacobson. Thanks so much for joining us for CCX coverage of high school girls basketball. Hopkins over Park Center, 97-79.